Gotham Knights came out yesterday. Here's the reviews. I'm not surprised. I'm a little bit surprised at a 50 out of 100. I assume these are, I don't know what these are out of. Is this a 5 out of 10? I'm assuming it's out of 10 because it's IGN.
Yeah, IGN is a 10-point scale, so is GameSpot. It's a 5. That's a 4 out of 10 from GameSpot. That's a rough one.
That's a 4 out of 10. This is a 3 out of 5, so let's pretend it's 6. 7 out of 10. Let's just pretend it's 7.
I think you assume it's out of 10 unless you're seeing
yeah,
what it's like.
7.5. I mean, like, I'm not particularly surprised at this section. I'm quite surprised at this section. IGN giving something a 5 is crazy.
Yeah, that's a really bad score from IGN.
That is really bad. And if we just go to, Open Critic and such, I'm not surprised by any stretch. The game itself didn't necessarily make the best impression. Also, apparently this game on consoles only runs at 30 frames per second.
Yep.
Which makes no sense. And just like, huge problem. So basically you're like, okay, well, I'm playing this game that runs on 30 frames per second on a console, which is supposed to be this gen consoles.
That's the next gen or the current gen consoles, the PS5 and the
which
the
I'm
series.
Like,
so
wait a second, these things are way better than 30 frames per second by a million miles.
Say, are these things already like out of date 2 years later, and we're just gonna be getting crap console ports? Do we need a PS5 Pro already?
Like this game is like, what they made this game and put the frame rate from 2008, and that's already a massive blow for console folks. PC, I think you get PC I think is different. I think the specs on this game too for PC are really ridiculous. When I was looking at all the stuff on this, I'm not shocked though by any stretch. I think the combat looked exactly what I would have expected from Arkham Asylum, which, over 10-year-old game. I don't know how the story was going to roll out. I wasn't particularly enthusiastic about the main villain thing, the idea of like the Court of Owls. That's not a character that people know off the top of their heads. Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, those games work because everybody knows everybody knows the Joker. I think everybody knows that. That works. You know what doesn't work? The Court of Owls. Do you know what that is?
No.
Exactly.
No,
you don't know what the fuck that is. That doesn't work very well. It works for the people that like read all the, they read the comics, they know like the basic stories. But people don't know that. Like most people, if you ask them about some of these characters too, like if I asked you, like, or a regular person, because that's actually who you need to sell to too, who's Red Hood? I think many people would be like, who?
Yeah, so, like, for me, like, I know Robin and Batgirl, Red Hood and Nightwing, like, the names sound familiar, but I've like never seen them in any media ever.
If you're a DC person, you know the Batman lore, you know who they are.
Yeah.
You know who they are. And like, these are just all various versions of Robin. Red Hood was a Robin, Nightwing was a Robin, and then we have just this Robin, and then Batgirl is just,
and then there's Batgirl.
It's Batgirl. You know who that is. I'm not shocked by any stretch. I think they really screwed up the villain for this. The Court of Owls, nobody who's just a regular person knows who that is, which I think is detrimental, because you're like, okay. Like, if I'm playing a comic book game, I want to have just like the iconic villains be the main the main antagonists, excuse me.
Yeah. I want Joker and Riddler and Mr. Freeze,
exactly,
and Two-Face, those
guys. And guess what? Arkham City did all that because that was smart. That was a smart thing to do. You go, okay, who are the main villains that people might know off the top of their heads? They know who the Joker is. They know who Two-Face is. They know who Penguin is. Penguin is iconic. Mm-hmm. You know who that is. Riddler. You know who Riddler is. You know who
Poison Ivy.
Poison Ivy is, obviously. You know Catwoman. And like Clayface was also in the games. Like Clayface isn't like as iconic, but Clayface is pretty, you know, you could guess that one. So all the villains in Arkham City, like you knew, and the ones that were like the side villains, they were not part of the main story. They were side stories. Like Mad Hatter was a side story. You didn't engage with him at all in the main story. You could do it if you wanted. There were villains like that who were like, you wouldn't know it unless you were like, you understood and you watched Batman or you read Batman. So for this game, I was like, okay, there's no Joker. There was a Harley Quinn showing, which I didn't like that Harley Quinn. I'm just going to say it. They basically turned her into Joker, which I'm like, okay, that doesn't work for me though. That doesn't work for me for that character. They had this Court of Owls thing. And they didn't reveal any other villains that I knew of that I could see off the top of my head. So what exactly do you attach to? And these Robins, these people don't, you're not going to get a random person to be like, yeah, I'll play as Robin.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like when I play a Batman game, I want to play as Batman. I don't want to play as Robin. I don't want to play as Batgirl or, you know, whatever.
For me, I would be more than happy to play as Batgirl and Red Hood. That's it. I don't give two shits about these the Robin and Nightwing ones. They look at it. They look the same. They both have a nightstick right here and a staff. It's okay. At least with like Red Hood, you have guns. It's kind of like, okay, you have guns and it's kind of different. Batgirl has like the tonfas or whatever they're called. I mean, that's whatever. I don't know. Like, I just like, to me, this game really missed the mark in its marketing side, because they didn't pick villains that people would immediately attach to. Like, I know some people were like, oh, Court of Owls, cool. Like, yeah, that's because you read all the Batman stuff and you know who they are. But you're asking a person unfamiliar with this to buy the game, and they're not going to do it. Like, I don't have to know all the Batman comics and all the Batman stories to want to play that Batman game. I know the basics, and the game like just pushes on the basics.
Yeah, like only the hardcore Batman fans who read the comics or are going to like know who these characters are, both the villains and the more obscure of the heroes of their thing. But yeah, a casual like DC/Batman fan like me, like, yeah, I know Batman, I know Robin, I know Batgirl, and I know the iconic villains that we talked about.
Right.
Though at the same time, I thought about Batman Begins, the movie, and like that movie did not use iconic
yes, it did.
Batman villains.
Yes, it did.
It had Scarecrow and Ra's al Ghul. Like,
Ra's al Ghul is an iconic Batman villain. It's just one that maybe
not to the casual. I like not before that movie. Okay. Not to that. Before I saw that movie, I had never heard of Ra's al Ghul before.
Okay,
like,
I'll okay, that's fair. That's fair. Okay, I did because I'd watched some stuff for Batman, but like, okay, I can get how like maybe somebody who's not super familiar might miss that one. Scarecrow's iconic though. You probably know Scarecrow at least a little bit.
I hadn't heard of Scarecrow before that. Really? I hadn't heard of either Scarecrow or Ra's al Ghul before I saw that.
Okay, that's crazy. So. Okay, that's crazy. I thought Scarecrow would at least be something that people would know. Okay.
But I still love that movie. I love Batman movies.
Oh yeah, no. And Scarecrow and Ra's al Ghul are great. Like, they're great. So I'm just like, this game has like Harley Quinn that I knew of, that I saw in all these trailers, and I guess they're probably going to have like some mob bosses and stuff. I think I saw Clayface in a trailer, but that was about it. I didn't get anything else besides that. And they're like, yeah, the main villain's the Court of Owls. And as soon as I heard that, I'm like, okay, no, I'm good actually. That's not.
I was gonna ask if you were thinking about playing this, but it sounds.
I'm thinking about playing it when it's about $15 to $20, or it's free.
That'll be a while. Well, maybe if it flops, they'll.
I think it's gonna flop. I mean, I do think it's gonna flop to some degree. Depends on what their expectations were. I'm guessing they had high expectations, given how much I heard about this game on all these various like, here's more about Gotham Knights IGN reviews.
Yeah.
I'd buy this for $20. on PC, by the way. I would not buy this for console. The 30 FPS thing is an absolute disaster that somebody screwed up. I just don't know what the reason was.
I'm looking at the system specs, by the way, for PC.
Yep.
So for the minimum, they want an i5 9600.
Yep.
8 gigs of RAM.
Yep.
A 1660 Ti.
Yep.
And yeah, then like 50 gigs of disk space.
Yeah.
Recommended.
Min specs are crazy.
They want an i7 10th gen, so a 10700, or an AMD Ryzen 5 5600X, 16 gigs of RAM, and then a 27 and a 2070. So
yeah. No. I understand. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
Not unreasonable requirements, but they're also not like, you can't have if you have a outdated computer, this probably won't fly.
Absolutely, it's not going to work if your computer's outdated. What's happening? Like, I'm trying to figure out where I can see mine. So I have a 660 Ti. Okay, I just wanted to look this up just to give some perspective.
That 1660,
yeah, 1660. Yeah. So that means I would have to do the minimum requirements. That would mean I'd have to do minimum. Yep. I can't do that. Which to me is I mean, my computer's not new. It's not brand new. So I understand. But most games I can play, even ones that come out recently with like medium graphic settings, sometimes high, but mostly, medium. So playing this game on low graphic settings, I don't know how that's going to look. I would want to play a game like this on at least, I would say, medium to high. Because like, to me, that's what I would expect. Also, apparently I'd seen some other videos about the general fidelity of the open world, and it was just not what I would have expected for the quality. I wish I had the side-by-sides that I could see again, but I had better thoughts on Arkham City in regards to the open world than this. So that was a bad sign too. So I would say I'd buy this for $20, or, maybe this goes on Game Pass or something. Yeah, I'll buy it for $20, and that's my final offer on this game. I don't think anybody should be necessarily buying this for full price, based on what I've seen. To be fair, like 6 months plus ago, I was really excited for this. So this is me being really disappointed with how this is rolled out. Given some of the things that I was like hopeful for. So anyway, I'm sad. That's my final verdict.
Yeah, like they tried to bring they basically tried to bring back the Arkham games, and those games are, one, they're kind of old at this point, and two, as they said, they went with this different angle with new characters, and it just doesn't seem like it worked all that well.
It doesn't work. The Arkham games worked because I think that at the time those games were novel for what they had to offer, but also because, again, Batman is an iconic character. Nightwing is not an iconic character, as much as they might want to think that the character is. This could have worked, to be fair. This could have worked if they had like brought in more iconic villains instead of the Court of Owls. I had never heard of the Court of Owls before, so I was like, I had to look that up, which I was a little... If I have to look stuff up for this, I'm a little bit worried. If they had just brought some more of the iconic characters in for the villains, I think it would have worked way better. I think they should have just started leveraging and advertising, hey, Batman's dead was their marketing push, but all the villains are here. Joker, you don't even necessarily need Joker, but it's just like, okay, Mr. Freeze and all that. I think I did see Mr. Freeze in some trailer for this game, but they don't talk about the characters. So that's also something that I don't have high hopes for. But yeah, $20. This is a $20 game for me. And I really... Well, I mean, I'm sad about it, but it is what it is. Any other thoughts before we go to Final Fantasy Skyrim?
Final Fantasy Skyrim.
Yeah, you know, it's a fantasy. Look, it's all the medieval characters and we got this trailer where a book opens.
I don't think we need to watch the trailer.
No, we don't. I'm just trying to go to specific parts of it. Well, what are your thoughts on this trailer? While I find like points in here.
To me, like, this trailer was kind of a nothing burger. Actually, even though it's like close to 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes.
Yep.
Because it's like it's more of a they're trying to like show you the different parts of the world and the different characters, which I get, but like that just doesn't. I don't know. They're going really quickly through it, and it's like hard to absorb like what's going on, like when they're snapping through different things so quickly.
Yeah,
basically in a trailer.
It seemed like there were multiple factions that they highlighted here with their leaders. At least is what I was gathering. And as you, I don't know. It seemed like they were all vouching for what, like being the king of kings. I don't understand. I didn't understand that part of it specifically.
Yeah, there's some political struggle, and there's something to do with crystals, as there always is in Final Fantasy. But each of the nations or kingdom, well, I think one was like an empire, there was a kingdom, there was a republic. So each of the different nations has someone who is the
defined leader.
What do they call it? Not the defined leader, but also, well, maybe they're the same in some cases, but someone who is they have a name for it, and I'm forgetting it, but someone who basically carries the spirit of the summon spirit, the icon.
Okay, got it. Yeah, the icon. No, it's the icon. You were right.
But there's a different name for the human. Icons are the spirit itself, and there's a different name for the human that like carries the spirit, and I don't remember that. But anyways, I mean, look, the game looks pretty. You know, the focus on the summon spirits is cool, and you're gonna have these big epic battles, which look cool. You know, the gameplay looks very Devil May Cry-esque, but we know that the combat designer for this game was like the lead designer on Devil May Cry or something like that. So that makes sense.
So it's gonna be similar. Yep.
And other than that, we'll see. Like, there were a couple of messages from the, producer and director following the trailer. It was like, yeah, here's our latest trailer. We look forward to sharing more information with you. They're gonna have some previews, I think, with some of the outlets and maybe some other stuff in the coming weeks and months. So
yep, makes sense.
They showed summer 2023 again, which we already knew about. I guess. Maybe they said like Q3 or something last time, and now it's just summer, but Q3 and summer basically mean the same thing.
Yeah, so, I thought that was kind of the same thing there. Oh, sorry, it was a little bit dry. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really a big Final Fantasy person, as you know already. So for me, when I watched this, I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to really take away from this. Besides, there are various factions, and here's some epic battles that you could have with giant summons, which is pretty much Final Fantasy to me. So I didn't really get anything particularly unique, is what I'm going to say. Nothing about this felt unique to me. This felt like Final Fantasy, and that's about it. That's all I should have expected.
This trailer wasn't like as hype for me as the last one. This one was like, again, the story could be interesting, but for me, like, it's hard for me to get into the story when like I know so little, and they're just showing like snippets and just like jumping around to different characters and the different nations. So
which I need
more more context. I need to actually like play the game basically to see anything on that. So,
but the game looks nice. I mean, like, obviously it's got its Final Fantasy style, so it's in that style, which looks good. The dialogue, as always, was like, I hate to say it, but I felt like I was getting some salad thrown at me at times. I was like, God, you're just saying words to sound like grand. You're trying to sound grandiose when I'm just like, I don't know what the fuck you're saying. What? Well, I just want plain words for this trailer. But but the thing is, like, Final Fantasy trailers are like this, where with these kind of trailers, they do like they have their dialogue that's unique to the Final Fantasy, uh, you know, trailer. So like, for me, it was word salad. I was like, I don't know what is this? What are we talking about?
Yeah.
My takeaway was just that, okay, there's various kingdoms. There's some holder of a spirit, this icon, right? And big summon monsters and epic battles. That's what I got. And like, the game looks nice.
Dominant is the name of that's what the
Dominant.
people
Okay.
are called. That's what the people are called that hold the
Okay.
spirits. I just remembered it.
Got it. And I'm just like, I'm not a good person for this kind of thing. So I'm just like, for me, the whole time, I'm like, yeah, this isn't as hype for me as for other people. This to me was like,
Yeah.
okay, sure. This is a Final Fantasy trailer. I see that now. I don't know. That all I got was the very basic information that I just explained.
I mean, yeah, I'm not like, of the big name like JRPG franchises, Final Fantasy is actually like my least favorite of them, which is like blasphemy to a lot of fans. But like I like, pretty much all the other big JRPG franchises better than Final Fantasy personally. But 16 so far looks like it has potential. But yeah, this trailer, I kind of agree with you. I know you don't really care at all because you're not a Final Fantasy fan.
Yeah.
But like this trailer, even for me, like it didn't do a lot. It didn't do a lot for me. It was just, yeah.
But like I don't know. I could see why people would be excited about like the big monsters, the big monster fights.
Yeah, but we saw that already.
Yeah, but we saw that already. That's true. But like, I can see why people are excited. Like, oh, this is cool. And the combat, like, if you like Devil May Cry, like you're going to be in heaven here, because the combat is just like, it looks, very
flashy.
Very flashy. Oh, absolutely, very flashy. So but yeah, for me, I'm just like, I'm not a big Final Fantasy person. So when I see this stuff, I'm like, I wonder if I'm going to get plain English today. And I watch it, and I'm like, oh, I got like 5 words. I got 5 words from that. So anyway, that's just my takeaway. I mean, the game looks good though. It does look good. That is, I can't argue that.
As Final Fantasy always does.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, is like, it looks good, and that's what's expected. Any other Final Fantasy
Nope.
medieval? Okay. Oh man. Okay, so I saved this for last. This I shared earlier this past.
This was over last weekend. This was like the day. I think this was like the day, either the day of later in the day, or maybe the day after the last podcast.
Yeah, this was day after. This was Sunday. Yeah, this was a bombshell of a news post that we got from Sunday. I think there were updates to this. I just don't know the full updates to it as of today, but there were updates to this. Amouranth went on live stream and got on the phone with her husband. I'm not playing any of these videos, by the way. This husband is just incredibly abusive, and she showed text messages of all the various things that he would say to her and do. He just insanely abusive, insane verbal abuse. Apparently just like threatening to throw away all the money to crypto, and like threatening to kill the dogs. I don't, like, obviously we're not playing any of these videos, so you can't see it all, but yeah, this was really, really messed up. Obviously, this is like something that I don't think really anybody expected to be happening behind the curtain here. And it just like, the whole time I listened to these, I felt so horrible, because you have this like thought of people that you like see, and this is a complete unexpected, complete. I was just completely thrown off, and this was so unexpected for me, and I felt horrible. It is completely horrible. So, but this was Sunday, and when I saw this on Sunday, I was just like completely in shock. So that's where I'm at with this one. But this person, this husband, is just a complete scumbag. I don't want to wish harm on people, but you're you get close when you hear some of these things and see the messages that he's sending.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to point out, some people were like, this is a hoax to get attention. Yeah, if you think this is a hoax to get attention after looking at all this, I don't think they're saving you. I don't think there's anything saving you anymore.
One like Amouranth, like, she's one of the most popular streamers on Twitch. Why would she pull something like this for attention? She doesn't need that. Like,
she doesn't need that. She doesn't need attention. She's got it. Like what? Like that's also the part of it too. Yeah, I that also got me upset. I was like, really? You're coming in here on Twitter and you think that this is a hoax? Are you this stupid?
Yeah, I mean, the internet is quite the place. Sometimes you see things on the internet and you're like, man, that's amazing. People are amazing. That's great. That's so cool. And sometimes you see the cesspool that it is when you get someone like anyone, but you get someone like legitimately coming out with a really horrible, distressing story, like crying for help, and then you get at least a segment of the population is like, nah, it's fake. This is like, or
Yeah.
the probably even worse thing, people saying like, yeah, she deserves it. She deserves it.
Oh
And it's
God,
like,
yeah, no, like no, nobody deserves it. What are you talking about?
nobody, literally nobody
Nobody
deserves to be
deserves
treated.
this.
No,
What?
nobody deserves to be treated
Yeah,
that way.
I don't like. That's what got me really mad too. Was like looking through some of these tweets and people being like, "It's a hoax," and I'm like, "You're just this isn't trolling." Like that, and that's like the other thing too with this is like, dude, you're not trolling. No one's trolling here. You're being a fucking idiot. Like that's not trolling anymore. You're just being an asshole. But yeah, this was terrible. This was terrible. Obviously. I don't know how much more I have to say. There have been updates to this. I don't know what the confirmed updates are. I'm hoping the best though. That's all I'm gonna hope.
Yeah, I hadn't seen any updates since the story broke. I haven't been following it that much, but I hadn't seen any updates
Right.
since this. But yeah, I mean, to be honest, before this story broke, I'm not sure I would have said, I don't really see myself ever having any sympathy for Amouranth, and this comes out and it's like, oh geez, okay, wow.
Yeah. I know.
So yeah, I feel,
Yeah,
again,
that's part of it.
nobody deserves to be treated that way, no matter what you think of Amouranth before or after this or whatever. It's nobody deserves to be treated like this. She's been completely like exploited and controlled and blackmailed and degraded.
Yeah.
It's disgusting. Like this, I hope that guy gets what's coming to him.
Yeah.
And
No.
to me that is prison time. Like,
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, I'm not gonna wish harm that on people here, but there's a line at a certain point. You're just like, man, you deserve something, and I'm guessing that, prison would be it. I certainly hope so. That is completely, yeah, like just seeing all the messages and just hearing the way the guy talked, like, yeah, you're psychotic. But yeah, anyway,
yeah, Amaranth should get a lawyer and take this guy to court, because that's for sure.
oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely, immediately. Anyway, any other thoughts on this one? This one obviously was a big one, so.
Yep. No, I think, yeah, I think that's good.
Okay, then we're going back over